Hello, this is CK7 again with another commentary for Disney vs. non-Disney villains, this time round 11. At Caterwaull's club, Gaston and his crew are just partying and having drinks, and just having a good old time. But you know what they say about parties, right? Where there are parties, there are usually party crashers. And in this case, that party crasher is a villain called Tyler, and Gaston volunteers to deal with the brute. Now, and Tyler is the villain from Heavy Metal 2000, which that surprised me for two reasons. One, let's just say I have this line throughout the series. There's a line that I made about the movies you guys have been using, and the movies that cross that line are movies that are like very graphic and meant for adults, I think is one way to put it. So far, only up to this point, none of your movies have crossed that line. This, however, is the only time this is the only movie, Heavy Metal 2000, that has actually crossed the line, in my opinion. Although I've never seen the movie, I have done research about it. And from what I understand is that this Tyler fella is a pretty violent villain. And the second thing and that's just the minor thing that surprised me. The second thing that surprised me is you really kicked up a notch on Gaston's character. I mean, you turned him into a cold-blooded killer in this fight. I mean, he just automatically picks up his gun and BAM! Just punches a bunch of lead bullets into him. I mean, seriously, dude! What are you trying to do, go all on solo on him or something? And even Caterwaull is praising. I mean, jeez, people, where's your humanity? Well, they're getting Carface and Caterwaull are animals, so that makes more sense. But still. Anyway, the forces of the Horned King versus the forces of Ruber, which is basically, yeah, the Horned King's forces, made up of the Horned King himself, Creeper, his men, the Cauldron-born, and the Quizzants, and Ruber's faction, which is made of Ruber himself, Rockpart, Ramses, Rasputin, and Zigzag. I don't have much to say about this fight, because it's an all-out fight, so when it's an all-out fight, I may not have a lot to say, because they're kind of hard to talk about. There's so much action going on. So I thought this fight took a while to make, because you're using, like, 6 movies, I think. Well, actually 7, because that scene of Rockpart is from, No, you are using 6 scenes. Because, yeah, you're using the Black Cauldron, you're using Quest for Camelot, The Thief and the Cobbler, The Swan Princess 3, that's where that one scene of Rockpart's from, Prince of Egypt, and Anastasia, I believe that's all of them. So, yeah. So I bet it took you a while, because you have to flip through all those movies to get these clips. And Rasputin deals with the Horned King and the Cauldron himself. Very interesting. That'd be an interesting rivalry throughout this war, Rasputin and the Horned King. I thought that would have been a very cool rivalry. And I'm serious, though. The Cauldron-born just doesn't seem that good of an army to me, because it doesn't take much to tamper with the Cauldron for them to get killed. And it's the end of the Horned King. I bet some people were disappointed, because Horned King has quite a few fans. And along with Frollo and Facilier, the Horned King must have, like, one of the more intensive, most horrific death scenes of any Disney villain. Alright, Frollo and Ratcliffe versus Necron. Now that Frollo's finally snapped out of the spell, he decides to join Ratcliffe to take out Necron, as for an apology, I guess, one way to put it. I don't know. I see these two are actually working together in a fight. And I noticed that you're using some scenes of Ratcliffe from Disney's Pocahontas 2, Journey to the New World. Which I will say, between the two movies, I think I like the first Pocahontas better. And Jafar is still in Necron's fortress. And like I said, I've seen the movie Fire and Ice once, and I don't know, I didn't really care for it that much. And Necron, I don't care much for a villain. He's just, I don't know. I just don't care for him. I mean, if you want to, I mean, you have to watch the movie and know why I don't care much for him. And of course, that's the end of Necron. And Jafar just leaves him. I guess that was part of his plan. Alright. Ratigan versus Martin Brisby from The Secret of NIMH 2, Timmy to the Rescue. I don't know much about Martin, because I've never seen The Secret of NIMH 2. I've only seen the first one. Although I'm pretty sure he was in the first Secret of NIMH, because, yeah, it's Timmy's brother, I think, from what I recall. And I guess finding opponents for Ratigan has been pretty hard, because you're pretty much running out of non-Disney opponents for him. So I wonder how well he's going to do in the part 2 of the Villain War. Now this is an interesting fight right here. Yzma versus Zigzag. By orders of Ruber, Zigzag goes to Yzma's fortress and asks politely for a potion that Ruber needs, but Yzma rejects the offer with Zigzag. It makes him furious. So Zigzag plans to get it by force, and yeah. Nice use of the crocodiles from both movies. Very nice. And Zigzag just turns all the guards into animals. You know, I'm just wondering though, why does Zigzag have so many rings on his fingers? I mean, don't you think that's one too many? I mean, I would think that it would make his hands heavy or something, I don't know. But yes, Zigzag wins the fight by turning Yzma into a cat. But I do like that rivalry though between Yzma and Zigzag. They seem to go together. Okay, Emperor Zerg versus Professor Screw Eyes. Zerg is close to getting his tower back, but first he has to deal with Screw Eyes and a revived Sharptooth. Who, yeah, Sharptooth has revealed to survive his fight with Maleficent. And I noticed that, yeah, you're using Rex from We're Back, a Dinosaur Story as Sharptooth. Makes a little sense, considering they do look kind of similar. I mean, they are both Tyrannosauruses. And Zerg uses the Unimind to control T-Rex himself. One little nitpick I have, I noticed in many, like, old cartoon films or whatever that they always showed Tyrannosaurus Rex with 3 fingers on each hand, when the real T-Rex only had 2. It's just a little nitpick I have, because I just have a thing for prehistoric animals and all. I know a lot about them, so I just hate to see inaccuracies in many movies and all. But yeah, that's the end of Screw Eyes. And that scene I thought was really creepy in the movie, where he gets devoured by the crow. I think that's what happened, I don't know. And finally, Jafar versus Mok. This was a fight I was hoping you guys would do, but I wasn't sure how you were going to do it. But then I remembered there are scenes of Jafar from Disney's Mickey's House of Villains, which is what you're using. Very creative. And that you're using scenes of Mok during his My Name is Mok song. I will admit, when I watched Rock and Roll, most of the songs in the movie I could not understand because it's rock and roll music. But Mok's song is the only song that I understand what he was saying, which is kind of disturbing considering it's a villain song. And nice to see the Schleber brothers. And that scene from Rock and Roll, I'll admit, where Zip gets killed at the end of the movie, I'm sorry, that scene was just sad to me. And this fight ends in a tie, with Mok escaping in his giant blimp. And now to the epilogue, with new epilogue music. Instead of Mine Heist, you're using Pusher from Transformers. Maleficent meets up with Frollo's faction and suggests they should join forces together, which at first Frollo isn't so sure of, considering, you know, him and his issues against magic users, but eventually decides to agree with her offer, considering at this point, if he wants to defeat Ruber, he's going to need all the help he can get, so he doesn't have much of a choice. And Tyler manages to cheat death by drinking a potion that makes him immortal. And Ruber meets up and joins allies with them.
When you kill someone, make sure he's dead.
Yeah, I can really see that happening, because after doing some research, from what I understand is Tyler is basically like Ruber, except a whole lot worse. Like, Ruber is merciful compared to Tyler. Let's just say Tyler is just one of those villains that you do not want to run into, that you do not want to tick off, because it could be the last thing you'd ever do. And Rockpart meets up with Messina and El Supremo, and has them join Ruber's faction. So yeah, Ruber's getting a lot of allies now. And Zerg has his tower back. And Warp Dark Matter reveals to survive his fight with Thrax. And in outer space, the Dredge are coming closer to Earth. And Jafar comes in, and I guess tells the Dredge that they're at war with each other, or something like that. And Ruber puts Excalibur on his arm. So yeah, things are starting to get really serious now, and really awesome. So yeah, this is Seeking Problem 7, and we are getting close to the end of Part 1. So yeah, see y'all then.